What's up, guys? I'm back. I am sitting in basically my natural habitat today. This is the couch in my craft room, and I spend a lot of time here. I usually come in the morning, and my husband goes to work at 8, and then I sit in here and just sit on my phone and start my day, have my first cup of coffee. So I'm basically doing that right now. But I wanted to check in and say hello and do a little bit of a Flosstube episode, so an embroidery and cross-stitching episode, because that's what I've been doing a lot of lately. So yeah, hi, welcome if this is your first time. My name is Laura, and this is my YouTube channel. It's called I Heart Knitting, but obviously we're dabbling in some other crafts today. And I have just gotten back from a week-long camping trip. I was backpacking with one of my friends. We went out for a full week of backpacking up on the north end of Vancouver Island to a place called Cape Scott. And then there's a trail called the North Coast Trail up there. So we were hanging out and booting around and doing lots of walking and hiking, and I slept on the beach every night. Almost every night was a different beach, and it was just beautiful. It was so amazing. It was really difficult physically. You're carrying all your food for a week and everything you need on your back, but the payoff, the reward was just totally worth it, and I just feel really re-energized now. So it's a really great feeling. And if any of you have ever done something like that where you cut yourself off from, we had no cell service, and you kind of cut yourself off from the world for a week, you know how when you get back, it almost feels like a dream, so I'm really trying to hold on to that good feeling, and just as long as I can. And yeah, it was amazing. It was really great. I've put one photo up on Instagram. Maybe this afternoon, if I have more time, I'll go through some of my other pictures and do a little bit of a photo dump so that you can see that. Yeah, so I didn't do any crafting while I was away. I just brought a book with me because I was being really conscious of how much weight I was carrying, but I have been doing a lot of embroidery and catching up on some old projects, and I started a new one. So I thought I would do today just as all Flosstube. And I have a little Etsy shop update. There's also a sale going on in the Etsy shop right now until Monday the 9th. So I'll let you know a little bit more about that later on. And then in a couple weeks, I'll have a knitting update episode for you, because I do have some knitting that I've been working on that I can show you. But today is going to be all about the embroidery. So if you're interested in more of the knitting content, I would recommend checking out one of my previous episodes. But if you're curious about what I've been stitching on, then you can stick around for that. I've got a giant cup of coffee today, and this is in one of my favorite mugs. This is a mug by Salty Sea Dog Designs. They're really popular on Instagram, and I think they're really popular with crafters now. I see a lot of other people who I follow on Instagram have their mugs now, but I actually found this years and years ago in a gift shop in Tofino, Canada, and I just immediately fell in love with it. And it was one of those things where, it was a bit of a bigger purchase because it is a handmade, beautiful, huge coffee mug, but I'm so glad that I got it. It's I've had it for a long time now, and it's so well made. I was always worried about, this handle breaking, but the actual pottery quality is so good that I've never had any issues with it. And yeah, anyways, it's one of those things. I don't know if you do that sometimes, where you really struggle over a purchase, and there's either two options. You either don't buy it and regret it later, or you do buy it and you're really happy that you did. So anyways, super cute fox mug. It has little hearts, and oh, it's just so happy. And it's also huge, so it's carrying a ton of coffee. I think it's just a little bit of a novelty for me still, that the coffee just comes in a coffee maker and I can make 8 cups at a time, and you know, water coming out of a tap. All these things are a novelty to me right now since I've been out in the bush for a week. So anyways, I'm enjoying my coffee. I went for a little bit. I've got some exercise this morning to kind of keep going with that physicality that I've done in the last few weeks. And yeah, so let's get into it. I've been rambling for like 5 straight minutes. So yeah, embroidery. This is something that I probably do, you know, more in the summertime. It's something that I pick up and put down again. I used to do a ton of cross stitch when I was a little kid. I remember one Olympics, I sat and watched the Olympics, the Summer Olympics. I think it was the one in Athens, Georgia. And I sat and I cross stitched for 2 straight weeks, and I made this really cool flower design. I probably have it somewhere. And I found it out of like a, you know, the Reader's Digest Guide to Needlework that we all had in our house. We had crafty parents. And I remember entering it in the fall fair, and I won first prize. And that was a really big deal because it just was. It was a really big deal. I'd spent a lot of time on it. It was like fairly intricate little crowded cross stitch. So yeah, that was something that I did as a kid, and then kind of fell out of it. And then just in the last few years, I've been getting more interested in it. And last spring during lockdown, I was doing a lot of crafting, and I got right back into embroidery again. Yeah, so I had a couple projects languishing, like just kind of sitting, that I needed to finish. And anyways, I wanted to get those done before I started something new. I had some other projects in mind that I wanted to start, but I didn't want to keep continuing to start new works in progress without finishing other works in progress. So that was my first goal, was to finish a few projects that were sitting. So this is the first one I finished. It is a bear, obviously. It is more embroidery. It's not cross stitch, but fairly simple, just back stitching mostly. And then there's, I think the eyes are French knots, and yeah, there's just a little bit of maybe some chain stitch on here for the fur. Oh no, that was another one I did. It's all back stitching. Anyway, so it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward, but I really love this graphic design, and I love the way this turned out. I haven't finished it yet. I think it'll probably just get finished in an embroidery hoop. I have a couple other designs by the same company, and yeah, I might put that up in my wall. I'm just looking at my embroidery wall over here above my sewing machine, which you would have seen in previous videos. But the colors are a little different, so this might end up in the bedroom. So you can see there, that's the brand name, or the company name. It's called Hook, Line, and Tinker, and they're a company out of Nova Scotia, Canada. And I've done quite a few designs by them now. I think I have stitched about 5 of their designs. I have a mushrooms one in our bedroom. I have a couple kind of nautical themed ones up on my wall in here. And since I discovered Hook, Line, and Tinker a few years ago, I was at Fibrations Victoria, which is like a fiber festival in Victoria, Canada. They've really expanded their offerings, and there are so many beautiful designs now. So I believe they have an Etsy shop. They may have their own website as well. I think they have both. But yeah, I would highly, highly recommend their patterns. You can get a full kit if you want with, you know, it has the hoop, and it has a needle, and it has the floss and everything, and then the printed fabric as well. You can download a PDF if you want to just buy the PDF and print out on your own transfer paper and transfer onto your own fabric. Or you can do what I normally do, which is buy the pre-printed fabric with the floss. So instead of having to buy the hoops and all that, because I usually have most of that stuff already. So yeah, it's a bit more affordable way to do it. And I really want to buy a few more. She has some owl designs coming out soon, which I'm really excited about. So that was the first thing I needed to finish this. So that is done. It'll probably, like I said, just live in an embroidery hoop, and I think it might end up getting hung up in the bedroom. Really love it. And then I have, this is my last kit to stitch by them. So this is the Fox in Flocks kit, and this is how you will get your kit if you just buy the fabric and the floss kit. And it just comes in a nice paper envelope. They're very lovely packaging. It is very, I wouldn't say simple, but there's no there's not too much extra stuff in here. It's all very eco-friendly. Everything is recyclable, so there's not too, I don't think there's any plastic at all in their kits, which I really like. And I really like everything about the company. There's a little card in here with a picture of Ketch Harbor, which is in Nova Scotia. I'm hoping to get out to Nova Scotia this fall, and I'm really excited about it. And Hook, Line, and Tinker donates 5% of their profits to help women and children experiencing homelessness. That's awesome. They also have on their packaging that they are living on the ancestral unceded lands of the Micmac people, which I also really appreciate, seeing people acknowledging the lands that they live on. I live on unceded Coast Salish territory. I was hiking in Cape Scott on unceded Quatsino First Nations territory, and so I think it's just nice to see a company acknowledging that very visibly and directly on their packaging, and also donating money to part of their profits. So these are all good things, right? We can all get behind this. So yeah, when you get your kit, you get a little stitch guide, you get a little photo that shows you how to do your stitches, and then you also get this little piece of pretty unbleached cotton, and then it has the design printed on it. So the Fox and Flocks one is a little more complicated. There are several different stitches. There's link stitches and French knots and back stitching, and so that's a little bit not, it's kind of new to me, all this embroidery stitching, so I'm looking forward to challenging myself a little bit with this one. And it looks like I didn't get the floss with this one. I just got the printed fabric, because I have I'll show you some more of this later. I have some Sublime Stitches orange here, and then I also have a black, which I think came with their kits, which they don't use DMC anymore. DMC brand has plastic on their little bands here, so they switched to another company that has paper bands, so that they are continuing to have everything as recyclable as possible. So this is Royal Broderick brand, and it's really nice floss as well. I really like stitching with it. It doesn't bind up too much. I haven't been loving the DMC I've been working with lately, and I think that's more a me issue. I think I've been leaving my, I think I've been cutting too long of lengths of floss, because I don't want to keep changing out my floss. I used to do this when I was a kid too, and my grandmother used to always give me a hard time because I'd be pulling my floss out really, really long. Anyways, so it was kind of binding up on me, but the Sublime Stitches floss and then this Royal Broderick I've been really happy with. So yeah, this will be a project that I'll be starting soon. It's just a nice, smaller, portable project. They don't take a lot of time, but they're just complicated enough to keep you interested, and just really nice designs. A lot of nature theme, which I love, of course, and like I said, those owls, I'm really excited about those owls. So then the next thing that I finished, I think I might have shown you this at some point already, but I finally finished this pretty large scale for me cross stitch. So it is the abstract deer pattern, and I got the PDF from a company on Etsy, and it's just called Modern Cross Stitch Art. I think they're in Europe. I think they're in Lithuania possibly, but they have really nice designs, a lot of these kind of geometric style designs. I got another one that's a fox, so it's like a fox silhouette, but it has all geometric triangles within the fox silhouette, and I haven't stitched that one yet. It's a little bit overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie, because all the little triangles of color, and it's not gonna be complicated, but it's gonna be a lot of work. So I haven't started that one yet, but I do plan on doing that one in the future. But I started this last year and it had just been sitting, and I decided to pull it out and finish it. And I'm really happy I did. I had finished, you know, I did the deer silhouette first, and then I had done some of the triangles. I think I had done these triangles and this one. So I had most of the cream still to do in the background, and then these little triangles up here as well. So I had a little bit of frustration in this one. I had it in a, maybe I have one here. Yeah, I had it in one of these just plain kind of bamboo hoops like this. But it sat for so long in the hoop that the metal from the inside started to rust a little bit. So I live near the ocean, so our climate's really damp in the winter, and yeah, so when I pulled it out again, I was working on it, and then I went to pop the hoop off to move it up. You know, it was around here, and I had rust stains on my fabric, and I was super frustrated. There was one really bad one, but I ended up being able to just kind of tweak this yellow triangle a little bit so that it covered up the rust stain. And then I used a little Tide to Go pen as well to try and get as much of the color out of the fabric before I stitched it as I could. So that could have been a disaster. I was a little frustrated with that, but it turned out okay in the end. And the reason I was so worried is because I knew there was going to be a lot of negative space up here where it could have shown through, and I did not want to go and have to stitch the entire background as well. So anyways, crisis averted. I have learned from that. I learned a lesson. On my current project, I am using this bamboo hoop again because my plastic one that I think my grandmother gave me when I was a little kid finally broke. So I had to use this, but what I did was I just took a little piece of scrap cloth and I just laid it on the inside of the hoop to cover up that metal before I clipped it onto the Aida cloth. So I'm hoping that that will prevent any rust staining in the future, but really all I need to do is work on my projects faster, and then I won't have these problems. So let's see if that works. So yeah, this is using, I think I used all DMC brand floss on this, and this is on 14 count Aida cloth. So that's 14 stitches per inch. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish it yet. I think I would like to maybe frame this one. So let me know if you have any suggestions on that. I'm not very experienced with that sort of thing yet. So if you have experience with cross stitching and finishing your finishing your cross stitching projects, I would really appreciate any advice. I know there are really creative ways to finish out there, and I just don't really know a lot of them. So yeah, that would be really great if you had any ideas for me. But for now, I think that's what it's going to be. I will just get like a square frame. I guess I could go get it framed at Michael's or something like that as well. I know that they do those like framing coupons sometimes, so we'll see. But either way, it's almost finished, and so that meant I got to start a new project, which is really, really cute. I've been working on it for the last 2 or 3 days. I started it when I got back from my trip. I had grabbed some Aida cloth and some other colors of floss that I needed to work on this when I was off island, and so that was waiting for me when I got home. and I was really excited to just sit and relax and do some stitching. So I started this one. It is super cute. I just love it so far. So this is called the Spring Garden Club, and it's a pattern by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I've done a few designs by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery already. I did a Christmas one, and I did a bee one for my friend that I gave to her, and then I did another really small Christmas one that I finished last year and gave it to one of my friends for Christmas. So they have very cute whimsical designs. You can see there is this greenhouse, and there are little flower pots and bunting. There are a couple little birds that I finished, and then these super cute little characters from the Spring Garden Club. You know, when the little guy has a flower in his hand, and then the girl has a little flower pot. And I'm just about to start stitching this tree in the background. So there's a big cherry tree here, and then there's more like borders, and then up here it says spring, and then there's like rain boots and a rainbow and raindrops, and then down here at the very bottom there's going to be a little border of flowers and flower pots. So it's a pretty big project, but it's been really fun so far, and I thought I'd start with the, you know, it's easy to start in the center of the design anyways, but I just thought I would start with this greenhouse, which was stitching white on antique white, which was kind of a pain. So I'm glad I finished that. It took a while, and just get all my counts set up properly and then work on from there. So yeah, I did the greenhouse. It took almost a full day of stitching, and then that evening I started on the flower pots, and then yesterday I did the rest of the flowers and the bunting and the two little characters and started on the tree. So anyways, this is going to be really cute. It's going to be about like, this is the width of it, but it's going to be about 7 inches long. So it'll probably end up being framed as well, but you know, I have to finish it first. That'll be a while. And yeah, I just used masking tape on the outside. Just, you know, I guess I could have used my sewing machine and just stitched around the outside to keep it from fraying, but I happened to have some masking tape close by when it was starting to fray, so I just covered the edges with masking tape. That's what I used to always do when I was a little kid, to keep the edges from fraying too much as I'm working on it. So yeah, as I said, I'm using this bamboo hoop and then just using this piece of fabric to keep the rust hopefully from showing. And I'm using a mix of DMC and then also some floss by Sublime Stitches. So I just wanted to show this floss to you if you're not aware of this company. So they are based out of California, I believe, out of the States. But I got my, there's a dog hair on there. I got my floss from Studio 39 Fabrics, which is a fabric shop that I shop from a lot for my Etsy shop fabrics. And they also have this little hand stitching section. So I think I also have one of their Sublime Stitches iron-on transfer sheets as well for like floral designs. But I really like their floss. They come in really beautiful colors. They have very nice, cute packaging, and their colors all have names. Like this one is called Honeysuckle, and Studio 39 Fabrics sells them in little packs of, I think, 8. So I got quite a few. I think I got 3 or 4 of their little 8 packs at one point. And yeah, like I said, I just really like their colors. They have very modern, fun colors, and they've been a great complement to my small DMC collection. And yeah, I have quite a few that I've used, and some of them I haven't even touched yet, but they just have great colors. So I thought I'd tell you about that if you hadn't heard of Sublime Stitches before. This is their Sublime Floss. And yeah, like I said, I've been really happy with it. It feels like it's really good quality, and you get a good amount in the little, I don't know if they call these skeins of floss. I'm not sure, but you get a good amount in there, and it goes a long way, and it's been really nice quality so far. So yeah, I think that was all I had to show you about that. I've been keeping it in this bag that I got in a fiber share swap a few years ago. It's just a perfect size for a hoop. It has my name on it, and it has some scissors and a little bobbin, so I thought that was perfect. Yeah, so I have all my floss colors in here, and I'm not very organized. I don't loop them around anything. I just kind of toss them all back in there. And then say I have, you know, a piece of thread where I've already pulled some of the strands, split some of the strands off, but I'm not going to be working on it for a while. I just wrap the leftovers around the top there to keep it separate. And then if I have any little bits and pieces left of the 2 strand floss, I just literally end up mashing it all up into a ball in case I need it later. And the other thing that I've been using a lot is my highlighter. I can't show you the pattern because obviously it's a paid pattern, but what I do is as I'm working on each section, because it's kind of complicated and it's so easy to lose your place in here with all the different colors, I just take my highlighter and I color over the parts that I've finished. And then that way if I miss a spot, like that'll also stand out when I'm looking at the pattern. So yeah, I just kind of highlight as I go so that I can keep track of what I'm doing, especially with this cherry tree that I'm starting, because it's, you know, it's all like little branches and coming apart, and it'll be really easy to lose my way. So I don't want that to happen. So far everything's lined up the way I want it to, and I'd like to keep it that way. Yeah, so that's it for my floss tube. Those are the things I've been working on. I had some future plans. I have one more Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery kit, well not kit, sorry, PDF left to stitch, and it's a sampler, and it's called the Fibery Friends Sampler. So it's really cute. It has an alphabet, and then it has all sorts of different animals that you would get fiber from. So there's sheep on there, and there's little goats, and there's, I think there's a little buffalo. It's really, really sweet. And then there's, I think there's 2 little people on that one as well. And they're holding like knitting needles and like maybe a crochet hook or something like that. So that's another big one that I will want to start once I've finished this large one. And I think I just need to get some Aida cloth for that as well. This one that I just showed you is also on 14 count Aida. It's on antique white, but the Fibery Friends sampler, I think I would like to do it on a colored background because it's mostly black and white and brown colors because of all the animals, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to some Etsy shop news quickly. So the big thing right now is I have my summer sale on. So the summer sale I'm planning to end on Monday the 9th, so you still have a few days to check that out. And everything in the shop is 20% off. So it's a great time for you to grab some things if you've had your eye on something. This is something I do twice a year just to clear out some leftover stock from different updates, and also just to give you an opportunity to get something at a bit of a discount. So if you are interested in that, I would recommend checking it out. Things have been selling, but there are still quite a few bags left, and there are still lavender sachets, and there are lots of stitch markers as well, and everything's 20% off. So as I said, I only do this sale twice a year. I do one midsummer, and then I do one again usually after Christmas. And so I would highly recommend you checking that out. Thank you to everyone who shopped the sale so far and helped me clear out the shelves a little bit and make room for new and better things. I am just in the process of pulling fabric for my next update as well, so I thought I'd show you that. I was camping, as I said, and I had someone request a little while ago if I would do some camping themed fabrics, and then I happened to be at my local fabric shop, which is Woven Fabric Gallery. They have their own website. I would recommend checking them out. They are run by a really good friend of ours whose partner works with my partner, and they had this really cute camping fabric, so I just couldn't resist. I had to get that one. It has, you know, little trailers and buses and tents and campfires and axes, super cute. So I grabbed that, and then I pulled some other kind of woodland camping themed fabrics from my stash to include as well. So I have this one which has like redwoods and camper vans, and I have just a very small amount left of this Tula pink fabric, which I think I will just do one bag. I just have enough for one, but this one's super cute as well. Little bears and like a little river and boom boxes and tree houses and tents. I love that one because there's so much going on with it. You know, once you start looking at it, there's so many different aspects to it. I had this really cute fox in like a forest, like a moonlit forest. I have this wolf print, which is super cute. And then in that kind of same collection, they had little bears, which are so cute. I just love how I can't decide if he's roaring or yawning there. I love that one. This is fabric by Ruby Star Society, cotton and steel, and little bears. And then I have this like birch tree fabric on like a yellow. So yeah, that is going to be my next update. So it's going to be, you know, camping, woodland themed. That's going to be in the Etsy shop on either Friday the 13th or Saturday the 14th. But that won't be included in the sale. So, you know, make sure that you get your sale order in before that, because the sale will be over by the time that is in. If you did want to shop one of these and wanted me to hold off sending your sale order, you could always send me a message and I can wait to ship your order until the end of the week once you've made your selections there and refund any extra shipping charges. So I'm happy to do that for you if you like. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to talk to you about. I'm really excited because I think I managed to do this whole video without any cuts, so that means I don't have to edit. But it was really great to catch up with you guys again, and I just wanted to say thank you for coming and checking out the channel. If this is your first time, please consider subscribing. It's always helpful if you like and comment and subscribe. It just helps get my videos out to more people. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you for watching. I had a really nice message from someone on Instagram this week about how much I was sharing things here on YouTube, and it was really nice. You know, sometimes I get very discouraged and I start to question myself a little bit. So messages like that really make all the difference. You know, the fact that I am, you know, the fact that my the fact that my check-ins mean something to other people means a lot to me, if that makes any sense. You know, the whole point of this was to kind of get back out and reconnect with people when everything kind of fell apart last year and my knit night group had to kind of dissolve for a little while. So either way, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and thank you for the lovely messages, and thank you for, yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and all that, and just thank you for everything. So I hope you're really all doing really well. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope you're having an awesome summer. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying your winter. And I will be catching up with you again in a few weeks, and I will be showing you all the knitting I've been working on. All right, take care.